Okay guys, we're going to take a little trip today. Not very far. It's pretty small. I just feel like I'm on a tricycle or something. We're going to take it down. We'll do a few blocks probably. Come back. Hopefully without any problems. You can see the side stand we put on it. Looks like it's just about right for it. I'll have a couple different camera angles so you can see the speedometer working here, and I'll probably flip that up a little bit later and you'll be able to see something else, but right now I think we just want to start it up and go. I don't have a lot of gas in it either. It's pretty good out here in the wild, huh? Let me get my helmet. want to go into third. I can come back to it. Well, we're dead. I don't know what we're dead from. Oh my goodness, I think I might have had the gas off. Nah, surely not. I couldn't have got that far. Okay guys, I'm not sure what it was. I could kick it and it would run as long as I didn't open the throttle. So I'm just not real sure, but it died like you know, it was a heat thing, like a condenser or a coil. And then after it cooled off a little bit, it came back, but it would just run without, if you gave it any gas, it wouldn't run. It'd just kill it. So I'm not real sure, but we've got a new condenser coming and points. So when those get here, we can at least hopefully eliminate those. But it seems like it, you know, I only pushed it about a block and then tried to kick it again, and it started right up and took off. So got some growing pains. It needs to grow up, that's for sure. It's a little bike. I feel real out of place on it. Okay guys, I don't know what happened. When it left me stranded down there, we'd gone probably, I don't know, probably a mile. And as I pulled up to the stop sign, it just died. I'd kick it and it'd start, but it wouldn't take any fuel. So my first thought is I've got a block pilot jet. And another thing that just kind of was in my brain, maybe it's a heat related thing, you know, for like the condenser or the coil. But as I started pushing from there, and oh, by the way, thanks for all the help pushing, guys. I pushed it about a block and there was a nice tree there. I just stopped for a moment and I kicked it and it took off. So I had to rethink that heat issue thing, because normally once you've got the flow of the air stopped, and it's going to heat soak more. So I don't think that heat thing is an issue at all. I think it's more the pilot jet. And that pilot jet, if you remember watching when we went through the carburetor, it was a 17.5 pilot jet. Most of the bikes that we work on are 30 or 45, you know, the 125 up to 250 range or whatever. And those are small. Just imagine what a 17.5 is. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm going to go ahead and tear it apart. Even though I did kick it, it got going and I rode it on home. But there's something awry, and I think it's in the carburetor. That carburetor was pretty clean, but you know, we'll go back in there, and I've got the new filter on upstairs in the tank, and I've got a inline filter on too. But you know, it might have just been something left over floating around the carburetor. We're going to look. The other problem I was having was third gear. I couldn't get it to drop into third gear. All the rest of them worked, and all of them worked coming down, otherwise downshift. And I could go to come out of second, go to third, but it wouldn't go. And I'd go to fourth, and it was in there, and then I'd come back to third on a downshift. Everything worked good that way, but it just wouldn't go to third from second. So that there's something awry in the adjustment, and I was hoping and praying that everything was good. So I really don't know what to look for in there, but I have read something. They talk about adjusting at the eccentric if you overthrow a shift or underthrow a shift. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try that. And there's another way to adjust it also, and that's on the slider. You can put shims behind that. And there are no shims now. When I was, remember, all those parts were missing. And when I went to order all that, I saw that the shims were there, but you know, it's like, you know, who knows what shim you need. So I just ordered the basic parts, and again, I just thought, well, we'll put it together just that way and hope for the best. So not knowing what was in there to start with or anything, we're just starting over from scratch. So that's what we need to look at, and I think we'll just go ahead and pop that cover off and see what we can find in there. And that's my first thing, is to try to figure out why it's not shifting, and then we'll get into the carburetor, because I think that's what it is. I don't think it's a heat soak issue, but we've got a condenser coming, so if that's an issue, then maybe. And you know, we can throw any coil in there and double check it if we need to, as long as it's 6-volt coil. Okay, let's get over and take a look at it. Okay, using my camera phone here to get a little closer. And you can see here on this cog, I've loosened this up so I don't have to deal with the spring pressure quite as much. But when I shift this thing, see, fourth, it doesn't do it. Okay, right there should be neutral. Now, let's go to first. See how it goes past the cog? That's what they're talking about. You can see it right here that it's gone past this detent. It's on top of the next one. That's what's going on. And they tell me, after reading the book, that it's adjusted by this little guy right back here. That bolt. That's the eccentric. And there's absolutely no way to get to it, to adjust it, without taking this shift arm out. So it's almost like it's a wag. You know, just a wild ass guess. You've got to go in there, move something, put it back together, and see if that fixed it. And that's a pretty sorry way to do something, but you know, maybe I'm missing something, but that's what I'm getting out of it. So it's the one back here with the spring on it that I need to adjust. So what I've got to do is I've got to get this out, and in order to do that, I think I've got to take this whole piece off. So I'm going past, so I think I need to move the screw to the left. I'm not sure. Let me see what I can do here. So here's the eccentric bolt right here. That's what we've got to adjust if it goes not enough or too much, they say. My goodness. Okay. But it's kind of a wag. You can't, you just got to adjust it, put it back together, because there's no way to get back there. Okay, I think I may have found the issue. This has got a lot of play in it right here. So I've got to figure out a way to get that's 2XS, I think. I really think that might be causing the issue. And another thing that I've kind of figured out is this piece here that goes on the rod and then goes onto this piece. It shows shims that you put on the backside to shim it out, and I don't have any on there at all. And I kind of knew that from when I did this before, when I put it together, but I just thought I'd try it without it first to see where I was at, but I didn't notice this thing having so much play in it. I think I'm probably going to have to see, that's I don't know that you probably can. You've got to get this, and all this stuff right here looks like it's all in one piece. So I'm thinking maybe what I need to do is weld that hole up and re-drill it to tighten this up. It may be this piece too, but I would venture to say that it's probably a combination of the two. I've got to get that piece out, and we'll see what it is. It's got a little E-clip on it. Right there. Looks like it's mostly in the hole itself. I'm sure it's a metric size. Okay, I gained a little bit with my adjustment down here, but I just don't think that's what's going to do it for me. The book shows an adjustment here with shims behind the little piece here that goes in the worn out piece. I'm going to try this. I actually found these and they were very reasonable priced. So I went ahead and ordered them on eBay, and I just thought, well, I'll see if I can make this, it's trying to go too far. So I don't have the correct shims, but I do have 6mm washers, and that's what it takes. So this particular one is 1.56 millimeter. We're just going to try it. This should keep that from moving too far in. It's kind of tricky getting all this in here. I find you can do it by just loosening these mounting screws. That way you don't have all this other stuff falling out on you just to change the shim on that. So we've got all that back in there, and that's I'm using a nylock on here instead of a lock washer and nut. And what I really probably need is the thin one. I'll see if I can locate one of those. That way you've got more adjustment, because this, I think, is just going to be just about the most I can stick back there and still have the nylock functional. Yeah, I can feel, I'm screwing into the nylock right now. It looks like it's just about to the end of the bolt there, and you need that in order for that locking feature to be functional. So I need to look for a thin nylock if I'm going to do that. And we'll give this a final tightening down here. Yeah, I messed with this a couple times, and I could see it's moving, but I ended up with a half turn to the right, and I have no idea if that's the right way, but it seems like it helps some. But I was still throwing it way past on the cog. So let's get our neutral back down here. All right. Go ahead and get my detent tightened back up. First, second, third. Fell right in there that time. Fourth. Well, that looks better. It looks better. Boy, this is a rickety thing to try to... Okay, but it does look better shifting up gears, and actually the down looked actually better too. So let's give that a try. There's sure got to be a better way. Yamaha figured it out later, but we've got to deal with it on these old machines. All right, let me get it buttoned up. Okay guys, got to get this done. I want to test it, the shifter. It's getting ready to rain, it sounds like, and they're even talking about some snow tonight. So let's see if this thing will shift. So far, so good. I like it. Pretty good clouds coming in. It looks like we might really get some good rain. It was clear as a bell and 85 degrees here this morning, and now it's about 12:30 in the afternoon, and it's rolling in. They're saying maybe some snow, primarily in the high country tonight. Well, anyway, this thing's shifting, so not bad for a guy that doesn't know what he's doing. Got something figured out, or extremely lucky, one or the other. Okay, I'm just going to let the fuel run out, and then we can tackle the carburetor. I think it's probably passed. You know, it's kind of like a kidney stone or something. I think it's already taken care of it, but I just feel better. I don't want to have to push it. These things aren't meant to push. So I'm just going to let that run out of fuel. I just can't get over how nice that sounds. That's such a sweet little running engine. I mean, they don't have a lot of power, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, the cool factor is there. It is cool. Okay, I got the bowl off, and it really looks clean in there. I mean, it's got discolored from the water or whatever that was in there before, but I don't see any particles floating around in there. So it actually looks pretty clean. I just want to double check the pilot jet. It's clear. So I think I'll go ahead and blow this out good and put it back together. I'm going to dump this fuel even though I don't see anything in it. Like I said, it may have just been like a kidney stone. It's already passed and done with. That's the end of it. Thank you. just think that if that's what it was, it's just not there anymore. It pretty much fixed itself. There we go, all buttoned back up. Okay guys, here we go again. Cooler than it was this morning. It's about 56 degrees now. Okay, this is where we broke down the other day. Keep forgetting which way to shift on this thing. But it's shifting good. Okay guys, I don't know, probably did 3 miles. So it seems like it's being held back a little bit. When you really roll on the coal, when you really hold the gas open, it seems like it starts to slow down, and then when you let go on it or let it up a little bit, it starts to speed up. So that's telling me that it's probably too rich, or it's got a clogged up exhaust or an air filter, and it could be any of those. The air filter we know is pretty substandard. I was going to make a new one, just haven't got to it yet. And we know that it had an 85 main jet instead of an 80, so that possibly could be a little rich, and it could be the clogged up exhaust, but I really don't think so, because I had the baffle out, and I even burned it with a torch to clean it, and it wasn't that bad to start with. But other than that, the little thing just runs like a top, and it just sounds so cool. It's just amazing little bike for its time. I didn't appreciate it when I had one as a kid, you know. The Enduros were coming out and I wanted an Enduro, but I got this. But that's okay. I got one again, and I'm kind of learning to appreciate it. Okay guys, there you have it. We had couple little problems, but I think we got them worked out. Everything's it's shifting good, and it's it's running a lot better. Like I say, it seems like it's a little rich. You know, when you grab that throttle and you keep rolling it on, and at a certain point it just quits speeding up. I get it. It's not because of my butt on it either. I think it's got room. The most I ever got out of it is 35, and I was kind of going downhill. I think it ought to be good for 45, maybe on the flat with me. And I think I'm going to experiment with the jetting a little bit, try that, and I'm going to pull that air cleaner out and make a new one like I did for the 100 Trailmaster. Those old paper filters, even though that one looked pretty good, they're just not, they weren't great when they were new, and they're sure not great at 60 years old. So I'll make a new one of those. We're not done with this thing yet, but at least we know it's at this point reliable. The brakes work, the lights work, the horn barely works. It's just kind of fun. It is. You know, it shifts through the gears. I think I got lucky on that. That little shim I put in there, I think was the fixer on that. Anyhow, hey, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.